Hey, what's going on everyone? Jeremy here, and today we're going to talk about silver and is there really a silver squeeze that's happening? If you want to follow along my journey as I try to build wealth, then subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. All right, so the question is there a silver squeeze and what's going to happen with the price of silver? And if you've seen anything with the price of silver, if you've looked into this at all, let me pull up my screen here. You'll see that the price of silver in the last month and a half has basically fluctuated between $25 to $27, right in there. If you don't know much about the silver market, you probably say, well, nothing's happening with silver. I'm not going to buy anything. But let's look at something here real quick. APMEX.com, which is one of the biggest metal dealers in the US. And look at what they're doing. We are experiencing 1 to 3 day delay in shipping and only accepting orders over $300, $299, due to high order volume. So if you don't understand how silver works and how the silver price works, then you're likely thinking to yourself that nothing's happening with silver price. But the reality is, if you look at some of these silver items that you want to buy, a lot of it they're out of stock on. They just don't have it. Now they're restocking on some of it, but there are incredible premiums on these items. So look at this. This is a 1 ounce silver bar from APMEX, $31.85. If you buy 1 to 19, it's $32. So you're talking about a $7, almost $8 premium over what the spot price is for this particular item. If you go to like US minted coins like the Silver Eagles, let's go back here. Here you go, US mint coins, Silver American Eagle. Silver American Eagle coins. I bet it's going to be, yeah, $34. That's if you buy it in large amounts, over 1,000 of them. So you're talking about $36. So almost $11 or $12 premium on US minted silver coins. So the question is, well, why is the price not changing? The reality is that the price of silver has been manipulated for decades, literally decades. And there's really no way to beat them at their game by buying stocks like SLV. If you look over here at the COMEX, they are way short on the silver that they say they have. At least that's the speculation and the rumors that go around. And you look at this, right now for May is the delivery month for the COMEX. There are 128,000 open contracts. And each one of these contracts is 5,000 ounces. So if you do that, 128, 530 times 5,000, that's 642 million ounces of silver that are potentially up for delivery in May, which is crazy. Now, some of those contracts will go away, but I expect this to even go up. In March, which was the last delivery month, it was something like 50 million ounces or something that stood for delivery and had to be delivered. And so the way to squeeze silver is not by buying stocks. The way to squeeze silver is by buying physical silver. Actual silver that you can hold in your hand, that you get delivered to your home. That is the only way to squeeze silver, and it's happening. Just by the fact that APMEX is requiring orders over $300. A lot of their products have been going in and out of availability. The fact that a lot of people aren't able to get the 1,000 ounce bars, which is what the COMEX is dealing in. You used to be able to get 1,000 ounce bars all day long for industrial use or for these mints to create other coins. And they can't get those 1,000 ounce bars anymore. They're just more and more difficult to get. And so what's going to happen, and you're already seeing it, is that silver is used in industry for everything. It is one of the most conductive, maybe the most conductive metals out there. And so that's why it's used in semiconductors. In fact, if you have silver at home, take your silver and put an ice cube on it and watch how quickly the ice cube starts to melt and how quickly the coin or the bar gets cold. And it'll rapidly melt and it'll get down to that freezing temperature of the ice cube, and then it'll absorb all of the cold that it can in seconds. I mean, it is a conductor of metal, and that is why it's used in industry. And that is why by buying physical silver and getting it in your possession is really the way to squeeze this. And it's already happening. If you go over here to, this is a CBS News article that's talking about Ford. Ford is letting thousands of new vehicles sit idle at their assembly plants because of the global shortage of semiconductors. Now, some of you might say, well, that's because of what's happening in the world, and these factories aren't working like they used to. And to some degree, that is true. But to another degree, it's because it is getting more and more difficult to get the silver needed for those semiconductors. And if you think about where the price of gold is right now in relation to silver, let's just look at it at that point. I don't even know what the cost of gold is right now. Let's see if we can find that. Gold, $17.37. Silver, $25.36. So if we take the cost of gold and divide it by the cost of silver, that's 68. It takes 68 ounces of silver to equal the same value as gold. The historical ratio for gold to silver going back thousands of years is 1 to 15. So if we just take a look at that and do gold, which is 1736, divide it by 15, then in theory, the true value of silver should be close to $115 an ounce. But there's speculation because of the industrial uses that silver is actually more rare right now than gold is because of all of the industrial uses. The silver gets mined, it gets put in small amounts in TVs and cell phones, and basically every piece of electronic equipment has silver, trace amounts of silver in it. And what happens when those devices get used up and consumed? Where do they go? Well, typically they go to the landfill. The cost of recovering that silver out of those devices is just economically not viable. And so there's some speculation that there's actually less silver in the world right now than gold, and silver has an industrial use. So let's say that we change that ratio to 5. That means that puts the cost of silver at $3.47. Now, if you haven't seen the video that I did on inflation that is coming, I will link that up here. You can go check out that video. Precious metals, gold and silver, have been a store of value for thousands of years. And with the inflation that is coming, it is a great place to put your money and store it in physical. Obviously, like everything that I say, I am merely a guy on a computer on the internet talking about my opinion. And so don't take anything that I'm saying as financial advice. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, and figure out if it makes sense for your family to go in this route or any route. But personally, I believe that buying physical silver is a good store of investment, a good store of value. And if you think about this, up until the 70s, the value of the dollar was actually pegged to silver. 1964, we sort of went to fractional, and after 64 until 70, I think it's 75 or 76, don't hold me to that, it was like fractional. But up until 64, $1 was equal to 1 ounce of silver. If you saw the video I did about inflation and the amount of currency that was printed and being injected into this economy, that ratio is, I can't even wrap my mind around it. But I say all that to say that this government, I believe, is going to basically inflate itself out of debt, and then a new currency will come. And likely that currency will be somehow tied to gold and silver. It seems like currency has always been tied that way. And I think that if the whole country doesn't crash into a big heaping pile of garbage that likely there will be a currency reset. And I think owning physical silver is going to be a great way to store that value and probably really change the trajectory of your family. Again, my opinion, not advice. Take everything I say with a grain of sand. If you don't have silver, I don't know what to tell you. It'd be like saying I don't have any theta in 2 to 3 years. I think that you should have theta, and I think that you should have silver. And I think that the potential for both of these two things is astronomical. And if you believe that inflation is happening and going to happen, it is wise for you to have your dollars converted into something that's not going to be inflated into oblivion. So if you like this video, please like it, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos, and definitely hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Check out this video over here. If you haven't seen it, this is the one on inflation. You can go check that one out. And as always, I will see you on the next video.